What's up, my wizards? It's Dev, SBMTG. We like magic, and I'm still having camera issues, so I'm going to talk to you like this. Hope that's okay. I'm really trying to fix this camera. But I've got to do this exclusive preview card, and I'm super excited about it. So I'm just going to jump right in because this is one of the better preview cards I've ever gotten, if not the best. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is Mistcaller. Mistcaller is just 1 blue mana for a 1/1 merfolk wizard with sacrifice Mistcaller until end of turn. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. Now, I would forgive you if you told me this didn't look like much to you upon initial inspection, but just on the surface level, it's a very, very cheap creature with 2 very relevant creature types in multiple formats. Obviously, Wizard is a really good creature type in Standard at the moment, as is Merfolk, and Merfolk is a relevant creature type in Modern as well. So this might be decent for just those reasons, but if you really dig in to this ability, there's a lot of stuff this card can do in a lot of formats. Now, let's take Modern, for example. I'll actually start with Modern. I know I'm a Standard channel, but I think it's really important that in Modern, this can stop at least 1 activation of Ether Vial and stops Collected Company really well, because it takes out both of the creatures they'll get off of a company. That seems pretty decent right there. Obviously, they'll see your Mistcaller right there on the board, but it still sort of wrecks the tempo, and it sort of, rains on their parade if they're trying to abuse an Ether Vial or a Collected Company. So just right off the bat, I think this has some application in the Modern format for the Merfolk deck. And there's even more Modern applications, albeit, kind of small applications. But against the, Black-Red Hollow 1 deck, this will take out Bloodghast and Flamewake Phoenix at least one time. So that could be important. When you need it to, it's there for you to do that. Even in really old formats, this has some application, you guys. Like, there's a Legacy deck is basically Legacy Elves. But it focuses a lot around Green Sun Zenith, which this card just happens to stop. Plus, just about any Reanimator strategy that's popular in older formats, if they're playing the actual card Reanimate, or maybe they're playing Exhume, or Animate Dead, or all 3 of them, some Legacy decks do that, then this can help fight that strategy off too. But even in Standard, there are very relevant applications to this card. Like the first couple of things that jump to mind are Scrapheap Scrounger and Rekindling Phoenix. Again, either the Merfolk or the Wizards deck can now stop both of those cards for effectively 1 mana, and it might be that all you need is to stop Scrapheap or Phoenix 1 time. And also, obviously, cards like Liliana, this is very playable against too. So even just in a format like Standard, this has like an easy 3 or 4 very relevant interactions. But even like way out there on the edge in Standard, there are a lot of cards that this thing could nerf pretty easily. Cards that people might want to play at F&M, or maybe cards that might have a chance at getting more popular in the future. Like, I'd say Journey to Eternity is something I want to bring up here. The card functions pretty well against both halves of Journey, so that's pretty nice. But even things like Thran Temporal Gateway, this is at least, theoretically good against, so there's that. And if people try to get froggy and play like Vivian's Invocation, for instance, this could have some play against that. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, there's just a lot of stuff. Surprisingly, that this works against. Daragaz, I'm not even done. Oath of Teferi, or literally any blink effect in any format, this works pretty well against. So, again, even though this card looks relatively unassuming at first glance, there is just so much that it can do against some relatively important strategies in just about every format that we play Magic in. And actually, before I get out of here, one more quick thing I want to point out about this card that might not be immediately apparent is that it is a sacrifice trigger for free. And you don't see that all the time, and it actually is important in some cases. If you have a deck that wants sacrifice triggers for whatever reason, could be important. Or if a deck just wants to fill its graveyard with lots of creatures. Godfarer's Gift that works through Gate to the Afterlife is a good example of a deck like that might want a 1-drop it can easily put into the graveyard. So I wouldn't put it past that either. There's just a lot of reasons why you might want a 1 mana easy sacrifice creature. So I like that about it too. It's just once you really start looking at the card, there are more than just its possible interactions to look at. Again, 2 relevant creature types and a 1 mana creature you can easily put into the graveyard are things that a lot of decks want. But altogether, stopping Ether Vial and Collected Company in Modern, along with Phoenix and Scrap Heap's Crown Jewel in Standard, Green Sun Zenith and Reanimate stuff in Legacy, just this card has a lot of things that it does, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was a very real card at some point. And keep that in mind too, depending on what gets printed in this set and beyond, this card could take on a whole new relevance at any point in Magic history. So I really like a lot about what this card is doing. But with that, I think I'm finally tapped out, which means that it's your turn now. Just take to the comments section and let me know how you feel about this thing. I am enamored with it. And I'm trying to be objective. Obviously, it's my preview card, but I know when I get a bad preview card, and I don't think that this is one of those times. I think this card really could have multi-format relevancy. So let me know how you feel, and if I missed any very important interactions, please let me know. Those are important. So just get at me down there in the comments section and let me know how you feel. But aside from that, just do all the YouTube stuff, like the video if you liked it, sub to the channel if you haven't done so yet, follow me on Twitter at SBMTGDev, or throw $1 at me on Patreon if you can afford it. I'll leave a link in the description. You can also help the channel out relatively cheaply by just clicking the very first link in the description to go to my sponsor, TCG Player. They're good folks, and they have really cheap prices on just about any dang old Magic card you want to buy. But if you want cheap prices for pre-order on Core Set 2019, they got your back on that too. I'll leave a link in the description. Helps the channel out when you click it, and to be honest, it helps you out when you click it too. These are the absolute cheapest way that you can get sealed product for this set. Or if you just want like a pre-order price guide for 2019, there's a bunch of singles that are already priced. So if you just kind of want to get a barometer for how the community feels these cards should be priced, link's good for that too. But gotta get out of here for now. I'll catch you cats later. I'm Dev from The Place. Thanks for watching, my wizards. Spread love and be kind.